Welcome back to Mic'd Up Moments. Speaking with Erik Wysocki, ADO now of the Dave& and Buster's out there in Tennessee. So we're talking about Cheesecake Factory. Why are they so soft? The people now, the staff, they're so vanilla these days. What changed? Today's staff versus back then. What's the biggest difference you think that is? And why is that?
There's too much out there.
Okay.
So, like, if you think about it in reality, right? If you go back to our time, it was an honor to work at Cheesecake Factory. It was an honor
Oh
to get
yeah,
to apply for the job and get the job, right?
sure.
What's out there right now that gives you that credibility? Nothing.
Nothing, yeah.
Nothing. I can get fired at Starbucks and walk across the street and go in Dunkin' Donuts. I can get fired at Chili's and walk across the street and go to work at Applebee's. It's
Yeah.
there's no credibility in anything anymore, and nothing pays more. Or if something pays you just a little bit more, they're taking half your soul, right? So, and then at the same time too, like that's the thing. People want to blame it on generation. I think generation does have a lot to do with it. It does. I mean, because like it's all handouts now, right? The world we live in now, what's to make money? You become a YouTube star, you become a
That's
podcast
it.
star, right? And
Yeah.
there's no effort in it. You do it all on your phone. You can do it while you're taking a shit,
Yeah.
right? You can edit your whole entire thing and just sitting from your bed.
Right.
There's no grind anymore, and nobody wants to grind. And again, can you blame anybody? No, because the world has changed. The United States has changed. Used to be able to. I remember my parents raised me off of being blue collar workers, working
Yeah.
40 hours
Work
a week.
hard.
You
Yeah.
can't do that. There's no fucking way you can do that. So can you blame everybody in the world that wants to take a freebie? That's why people don't want to pay taxes. That's why people steal. That's why people take advantage of everything because they want to. It's too much. To do what? Just to keep paying and paying and paying. But I just think that we talk about it at Dave and Buster's, right? When we do our orientation, right? We care about people, and overall, generally, we do, right? But like, go back to when we hired people, you had to be able to work Sundays.
Yeah.
If you couldn't work Sundays and Saturdays, I don't want to
Can't
look
work.
at you.
You can't work at all. Yeah.
Now you can't really go into it like that anymore, unless you have some specific industry
Needs
or
it.
job that needs it. So it's just like that's the thing, like there's always something out there for somebody, and they lie on their resumes and they lie on their tenure and they get into these jobs and some get lucky and some don't. But that's the thing, like there's no quality of life. I think now people look for a job that has a quality of life as opposed to a pay. And then also too the biggest twist in it all was the pandemic because people got paid off their debt. The smart people paid off their debt, right? The other people that didn't pay off their debt or vice versa is then they went and spent money. Well, they got if you were a line cook making $13 an hour before the pandemic, and then after the pandemic you're making $19 an hour. So now you're making $19 an hour. You go buy a new car, you go buy more furniture. You have another note, you have another note, you have another note, right? So now you need to make $19 an hour. Now everybody's all fucked because of attrition of inflation and everything.
They sh-
So now your $19 an hour at 40 hours is now 23 hours a week. You can't cut your bills.
Can't cut your bills now.
So now everyone has to jump around. So the hard worker is fucked because now they got to carry two, three jobs, which defeats the purpose of where they were before.
Right.
And then the other generation, it's out there. Everyone just thinks differently. You know, you have a lot of old school leadership, and then you have a lot of new
New school leadership.
school incomers that want to do it. It's for example, just look at Starbucks, right? So Starbucks pays decent, but like when I go into Starbucks, and I love Starbucks, I drink
Yeah.
Starbucks every day.
All
I
the
can't
time.
function without it, right?
Right.
But when you go in there, there's no dynamic. There's no like uniform standards. There's none of this. So you don't right. But
You don't
then
know.
they've embraced it, and I think about it like this: no one really gives a shit anymore about that as long as their product is
Coffee's
consistent,
good. It tastes good and it's fresh.
right?
Kids will tell me now, Eric. They'll tell me now. My out time says this. I'm like, what? Out time? Back in
It's
the
how it
day,
is.
dude, we worked opens, close, doubles, mids, whatever, till the wheels fell off. Do it again the next day. Like there was no like out time. Like you send me home now. My out time says 9:30. I'm like, that's a suggested
Well,
time.
I mean, it could be anything. It's hereditary, right? It's your upbringing, right? You know, if it's not intriguing to them, they don't want to do it, so they're not going to want to stay. Then in some situations, like if my out time is 5 o'clock and I start my other job 5:30, I got to go. You know, so you run into that conundrum too, right? So it's just I think that's the biggest. And the other thing too is it goes back to quality of life, right? So it's like I give you 40 hours a week, I give you 50 hours a week, I do my job, I'm here on time every day, you know, and then you like for me, like Mondays, me and my wife were talking about right before we came on the podcast. Like, my son's got hockey now; it doesn't end until May, and my daughter does dance class on Mondays too. So I go one way, she goes the other way. We don't get home till 7:15, 7:30. Kids got to get to
Night.
bed, the whole 9 yards. So like, if like today they have after STEM programs after school, and when my wife signed them up, this one usually one ends at 4:15 and one's at 4:30, and the schools are literally a parking lot across from each other, so you can make it in time, right? Today I go to pick up my daughter, and my daughter's outside with the teacher, and I got yelled at because we didn't realize it that the thing ends at 4:15. So they both get out at 4:15, and they're on the two opposite sides of the street in the parking lot. So I didn't think anything of it, and I come home to my wife. I'm like, "Oh shit, what are we gonna do?" So like when you have time restrictions like that, where you got to get your kids, or you have a prior obligation, you so much goes on. It goes back to the whole DoorDash thing. There's no time.
Yeah, there's no
There's
time.
no time.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I remember getting home from school. By the time my parents got home and got dinner, it felt like it was only 6 o'clock. You
Yeah,
know,
back in the day.
next thing you know, now it's 8:15.
Yeah.
You know, so it's like there's so many commitments and so many things, and that's the other thing too now, right? Like the way demographically things have settled, all the jobs are here, and everyone lives here.
Over there. Yeah. Other
You know what
side
I'm
of the
saying?
state.
So it's a lot of travel now, and
For sure.
that's a big thing. People want time. That's the problem. Like you want to make money, but
Right.
then people want time.
Time. That's the biggest thing.
And you can't fight it anymore. But then when you want to give time, it's like you see the meme
It
all the
goes both
time. It's
ways.
like,
Yeah.
hey, I think I need more hours, and I'm like, hey, I got the shift for you tomorrow. Nah, I
Yeah.
can't do that
I
shit
can't do
for you. You know,
that.
because it's like and that's probably the biggest issue with the generation today is, and they're in one mind frame today. Like they come home, they want to go on a trip or they want to buy something. I need more money. Hey, I want to make more shifts, but then they'll say that, and then next week when you have the shift for them, they already have their minds made up to do something else. That's a bigger priority than what they thought about the week before. So,
That's it. Favorite staff members back in the day, who can you remember? CCF Nyack. Some good names, some memorable stories, and the staff members you wrote up the most back in the day.
oh man, staff that I wrote up the most. If I think if this is if there's a staff member that I wrote up the most, it was
Yeah.
one of the kids you mentioned that passed away that used to be the bartender at
Derek.
Derek. Yeah.
God rest his soul, huh?
He definitely was one that I always had to sit down and talk to. It was like talking to a dumb donkey, but he was a good
Yeah.
kid.
You love him
But
though, right? You love him.
I had
Yeah.
to write him up for his tie, his apron. He
Man.
was
Yeah.
late. He forgot to
Yeah.
put he was definitely one. Oh god, man. People that I worked with. At Westbury, one person, two, Raquel. I don't
Okay.
remember her last name. She was a girl. I think you remember her, right? From Westbury. Yeah, she was amazing. Tom A from Westbury will always be one of my favorite people ever in the world. I lost his number. Tommy, if you're watching this, call me, dude. I miss you. See, shit, you were great. Your counterpart was a lot of fun to work with.
Panetta, oh man.
Jesus Christ, so many people. Johnny L, Johnny Z, Ozzy. Holy shit. Oh,
We're going back 30 years, man. We're getting up there in
Jasmine
age. Yeah.
Serrano, Manny at the bar. Oh my God, there's so many
The list
people.
goes on and on, huh?
It can go. Dude, forget it. I could probably sit here and dissect
All
by
day.
store all
Yeah.
day.
Tell me a crazy story that hasn't been told to this day in West Nyack that we have no idea that you can remember at the top of your head. A crazy story, like a oh shit moment.
Oh shit! Moment in
Yeah.
Nyack. Hmm.
Took somebody out back to the smoker's garden, like Danielle would say, chew them out, give them an earful. You loved them at the end of the day.
Over by the entrance around the
Yeah,
bush.
but
I
yeah, just
remember
around
that.
the corner.
Let's see. Oh shit! Moment in Nyack. I don't know if I have an oh shit moment in Nyack. I'm
Okay.
trying to think. I might have one from Westbury. So I mean, I remember one night in Westbury there was a server and another server. She turned around and she told everyone she used to give the best blowjobs. And the server turned around and said, "I don't believe you." She goes, "Meet me in the hallway in 5 minutes." And I literally walked outside and she was proving to him that she gives the best.
What? This is Westbury. Holy
This is
shit.
Westbury. I won't mention
Man.
any names, but I'm
Yeah.
sure if anyone's watching this, they will definitely know who I'm talking about. She was a fucking pisser though. She's probably one
Man.
of my favorite servers too. She was so awesome. Not because of that, because I didn't do
Yeah.
it, but God. shit moments. There was an oh shit moment at 2 oh shit moments I remember in Westbury.
Okay.
One was I remember I was a server. There was these 2 girls sitting at a table, and they were there all night, and, they stayed almost till, like, we were almost done closing, and then server went out and got the check, and they didn't leave a dime, and I felt really bad. These 2 girls, and they had on, like, fucking, like, 10-inch stiletto heels, and they were, like, click-clacking across the parking lot, and I ran after them, and, they get in the car, and I was like, "Was there a problem with the service tonight?" Like, "No." "Is there a problem with the food tonight?" "No, everything was great." So, "Can you tell me why you guys ran up a $220 check and didn't
No
tip
tip.
the server?"
Yeah.
You know, breaking all the cardinal rules of what you
Yeah.
do. So, and they would started arguing and stuff like that. And so then I was like, "All right, well," she's like, "Oh, you were supposed to pay. You were supposed to pay." I said, "Well, someone's paying, or I'm calling the cops."
Right.
Right? And they both jumped in their car and they tried to run me over, and I jumped on the hood of the car
Wow.
and I
It's like
held on
when
to the
Stone Cold got ran over by
yeah,
Rikishi in the
yeah,
car.
and I held on
Holy
to the hood of
hell.
the car, and then they stopped, and then
What?
the girl threw $100 bill on the windshield, and I grabbed it and rolled off, and I brought it to the server.
Holy shit.
Yeah, I felt so bad, man. The
Wow.
server was there all night. That was definitely an oh
Man.
shit moment. The other oh
Jesus.
shit moment for me that was probably one of the funniest stories ever was in Westbury. Nyack was we were in pretty good shape. No one ever really did
Okay.
anything crazy. Like
Nothing
I
crazy.
never had to. The only funny thing I remember in West Nyack is when I remember I got promoted. I was leaving the Hackensack, and then
Yeah.
they threatened to egg my GTI, and I was like, "Don't touch my fucking car. I love that car."
Flat.
They told me I was out. They were out there, and I went to go stop them,
Yeah.
and it was all Jimmy's fault. They as I was walking back from my car to the store, I don't know how he did this, but this was the most strategically placed I've ever seen cooks in the parking lot. From the parking lot to the back door by the dumpster, they
Yeah.
were all hiding in places where there was no matter what I did, I got destroyed with about 3 dozen eggs. They just attacked me from every freaking moment there
Wow.
was. But the biggest oh shit moment I had in Westbury was when they knocked down the Roosevelt Raceway in Long Island and they built condos. They had we started having really bad mice problems in the mall, and I'll never forget. It was like a Tuesday, like a Thursday afternoon.
Field
Westbury's still
mice are the
busy.
worst. Field mice,
Yep.
terrible.
All of a sudden, this one lady screams, and then another lady screams and jumps on the table, and there was a mouse just running around on the floor in the middle of the dining room, like on it. And so that
Jesus.
was so it was funny. So we called the exterminator. They come in, they do their thing, and then that Saturday night, I'm down in the cafe, and Brian McCleary calls me up on the thing. He goes, "I need you to come up to Expo right now. It's important." So I thought, you had to deal with something. I go upstairs, and he goes, "Don't look. Just look at the corner of your eye." And up on one of the eye, the
The little
eyes,
towel. Yeah,
the
yeah. Little
glass.
Egyptian eye.
There
Yeah,
was
yeah, yeah.
there was a mouse up on top looking
Mm,
over, and it
man,
was on a Saturday night, and this thing was ready to jump.
Jesus.
So he
Packed
calls it.
dining
He's
room
like,
floor, busy.
packed fucking 2 hour wait, 3 hour wait. Calls the busser, and the busser runs. And he jumps up in the air, and he whacks the fucking thing with a towel. And the thing starts to make a beeline right for the
Yeah,
dining room. And I fucking stepped on it and cracked its back. Brian's like, "That was the best
man.
thing. You probably saved us probably like 2, 3 grand."
Yeah, in Cobb's
But
that night.
the
Oh,
worst thing
man.
about it was, so we had such a bad infestation in the mall. It wasn't us. We were clean, but you know how
Right.
it is. They get in. I got elected to wait for Ecolab one night, and they pulled up in the front of the building with like 7 trucks. It was like something you see in the movies. There's 7 Ecolab trucks just all park up in the front of the
Man, oh,
building.
man.
And I get to meet this exterminator, and this guy loved his job. He had the half cut gloves on, he had a bandana on. He's like, "Ah, so you're my point of contact." He's like, "Yeah, blah blah blah. We're gonna do this." He's
Yeah,
like, he loves his job, loves his
yeah,
job. Takes me in the back hallway where the freight elevator is, and he
right.
goes, "Stand back." I go, "I'm sorry, what?" "Stand back." And he took a smoke bomb and he rolled it down the freight elevator shaft. He goes, "You're not going to believe what you're about to see." When I tell you, I've never seen so many mice in my life come flying out of a hole.
Wow.
It was like something you
Like the
see in the
Pied Piper,
movies.
like the Pied Piper, that
Yeah,
storybook,
it was
yeah.
it was it was disgusting. It was the most repulsive thing in the world I've ever seen. And then he had these big hands, so he couldn't stick the glue traps in underneath the benches. So I had to do it. So I remember when he would come back 2 weeks, I stick my hand there and I'd pull it out, and there'd be like 5 of them just stuck. It took us like 3 months
To
to
just get
get
rid
that
of them.
under control, but it wasn't
Wow.
us. It was just building a defense.
Killing in
But that
defense,
shit was
yeah.
fucking gross. That shit was just
Wow.
gross.
That's unbelievable. That's definitely a holy shit moment. As a manager, did you prefer opens, mids, closing, triangle, expo? Would you prefer working on the shifts? Would you like the most? Would you hate the most?
I mean, I no one likes the closes. I hate the closes. I was
Okay.
never a close guy.
Okay.
I always take a mid over a mid or an opening after any of them.
Okay.
The reason why I like the opening was because you got to see more of the executive side. That's
Okay.
so you
Yeah.
learned more, you know?
It's a different shift, completely night and day.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it
Yeah.
is. Everyone complains that, "Oh, it's favoritism," but there's a lot to it. Scheduling and numbers and dealing with all the corporate stuff, you know, so a lot of people think it's just a punishment. I mean, the night sucked because just for me, when I was in Nyack, I still lived in Queens. So after I got out of
Oh, you
work,
have
I
to
still
drive
had a
home. Yeah.
45-mile drive home, right?
Right. Right.
But, you know, it wasn't the end of the world. And then, but driving home wasn't as bad as coming in,
Right. The
right? Because
traffic.
to
Yeah.
be there at
Coming
four
in. Yeah.
o'clock, the
4 o'clock.
traffic. So
Yeah.
that's why I hated it.
Right.
That's preferably why I hated closing more than anything is because of the travel.
Right.
If I had for me, my favorite thing, I don't know. I always loved Expo. Expo was always my
That
favorite
was
thing
your
to
thing.
do because
To this day, it's
that
still
was
my
my
thing.
thing.
Yeah.
But I was always up for the challenge. I remember, you know, I got stuck at the desk on the big Valentine's Day and Mother's Day and Easter Sunday, even though I'd be like, "Oh, I'm the best Expo," but that's when the GM thought he was always better than me. So I always got done in there.
Hap-
But it worked, you know. But it worked because if you kept it full, you kept Expo with balance.
yeah.
I think my least favorite was for me on the floor was I think was the triangle when I was younger because like I was always like hands on. I had to be in it. You know what I
Right.
mean?
Right. Right. Right.
Now it's different. Now I love it's different. I like to float and see,
Right.
you know, so it comes with time. You know what
Right.
I'm saying? So, but yeah, Expo was always my favorite.
That's what you're saying. You ever went shopping the working at Palisades? Cheesecake snuck out the back door, went shopping a little bit, and did some things, and came back into the shift all
Oh,
the time.
who didn't? I mean, I wouldn't. I would always tell someone that, like, you know, I'm like, hey, look,
Yeah.
I'll be back in like 5 minutes. I gotta go
Yeah.
get
Yeah.
something,
Yeah.
or like, you know,
Yeah.
especially when it was like something you knew you had to get and you had like a
Right.
limited time.
Yeah.
I mean, shit. I mean, I didn't do the Cheesecake Factory, but I've done it before. But I've even seen a movie.
Yeah. Looking back at those days, man, what'd you learn from Cheesecake Factory you haven't forgotten to this day? And why did you leave Cheesecake Factory if you still been there to this day, if everything panned out a certain way?
I mean,
Okay.
systems, training. I mean, their systems and their training was always. I mean, it still resonates with me today. You know what I mean? Standards, for sure. Fine dining. You know, I think the best thing I learned, the thing I loved about GC is I learned to cook a lot more, which I really embraced. The food aspect of the industry. I mean, shit, still recipes still stick with me today. Like, you know, mimicking the J&W's pink lemonade and
Yeah.
you know the Georgia peach and all those
Yeah.
things. You know, just it sticks with you. You know,
Yeah. Sure.
but for me, this is my version of the story. If other people have other things they want to say, I'm not trying to insult anyone. But when Mike Moore left the company and then Louis Schwartz took over my region, we hit it off very, very well. He told me I was one of his favorite GMs. He loved the way I operated and the whole 9 yards. And I was training a lot of people, and I was still very happy with no issues. And then at the time, at the end, when it came in, and timing might have to do with everything. I was going through a hard time personally in a relationship, and it wasn't working out for me, and that really took a lot out of me. But I still did my job. I spent every day there. I didn't leave. The quickest version of the way I can say it went down is I'll never forget. It was the end of November of that year before I left. We had to make sure all our bills were paid, and at that time, all capex bills had to be filled out on a capex form with the attached bills and give it to the OST,
Yeah. Yeah.
right? And had to be shipped and emailed to
Right.
the regional
The regional.
for approval, and then they went into corporate. So I remember on the conference call, I was like, I don't have any open bills. And then I remember getting a phone call. I was in Queen Center Mall shopping with my brother for Christmas. He ripped me a new asshole saying I had $26,000 in unpaid bills. I was like, I don't know what you're talking about. He's like, I'm looking at it right now. And I said, well, read me all the bills. I said, those are all CapEx forms I submitted to you over the last 2 months. So you're saying, and then it became a piss fight. Like, are you saying it's my fault? I'm not saying it's anyone's fault. My job is if there's a capex form, I fill out the capex form, I send it in. You have to approve it. So if you don't approve it, I can't do nothing about it once it's passed into your queue,
Right.
right? You're supposed to look at it every month and then kick it back if it's not, and I take the hit, or it gets
Right.
capex. So at the end of it all, too, like I think for him, he just anyone that started to be a little bit combative, he just had it out for you. He started micromanaging people from his laptop, watching people on camera. I remember even Big Juan and them used to tell me the shit he used to do too. Like he would drive to Hackensack and park in the front spot and not even get out of his car and just look at you through the camera. Like, come on. And
Yeah.
that's never, we were never raised that industry way that way. Where it really got to me was he turned around and he said, I'll never forget the first incident was it was one of the nights we were selling bears. I always top seller when it came to the bears in the box. Always.
There's the boxes, the
And
sweaters, everything in there. Yeah.
and then this girl was sick at the front desk. She was doing it. So I sent her home. It was a Sunday night. It was dead. Willowbrook Mall was always dead. After 8 o'clock on a Sunday, dead
Yeah.
as a doornail.
Yeah.
But I, again, being smart, my host, my servers, my bakers, cashiers, they all knew how to sell the bear in the box. So I said, okay, I could save labor. She don't feel good. I'm going to send her home.
Right.
He had his wife call the store and ask for the girl at the bear table. And so I picked up the phone and I'm like, why would you be asking for the girl at the bear table? I was like, your family member. And I knew who it was. And then he called me back 5 minutes later. He's like, why is the bear table girl? I was like, did you really have your wife call and ask if she was still here? Like, you could look at the camera. He's like, well, who's going to be selling bears? I'm like, I got everyone else selling bears and still one of your top sellers in the region. And it was just tit for tat, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Petty,
Yeah.
petty bullshit. And it just pissed me off. And there's more to the story. And then the next one that really pushed me over the edge was we had a big snowstorm, right? I lived in Queens, so I was driving to New Jersey every day. And he's like, nobody goes home until I say they can go home. You have to call them or whatever. So then, 3 o'clock comes, I call one of the other stores, GM's gone. 4 o'clock comes, call the other store, GM's gone. All the GMs in this region were gone by 6 o'clock. Meanwhile, I had the farthest drive home.
Right.
10 o'clock, 10 o'clock,
At
I
night.
decide to go and start my car to drive home.
Yeah.
And I walk out the back door. I had all my stuff still in the office just to go start my car to warm it up in the snow.
Right.
As soon as I walk in the back double door, he calls my cell phone and says, where do you think you're going? And I said, really? This is what we're doing? Like, you have it out for me? Like, and it was just micromanaging me. And it was just because, and at the time too, was my performance where it needed to be in the store? No, but it wasn't all my fault. I had a lot of great managers and I lost a lot of great managers to help out the region. And but I ended up picking up the people that would, I don't want to say degenerates, but they were problems that should have been fired and they were given
Right.
to me.
They were still giving them a
So
chance.
I was just, I had no support, no strength. You know, kitchen manager at the time was very weak. Told him that, told Stefan that, regardless, love Stefan and all that. But at the end of it all, I knew what it was. I was a scapegoat for the performance of the region and I was being micromanaged to every T. And it wasn't clicking anymore for me. And then they sat me down one day in the food court and they were like, you know, you're fudging bills. And I'm like, I am not fudging any fucking bills. Like, well, who taught you how to pay these bills? And I'm like, I'm not, you really want me to go down this road? Like, seriously?
Yeah.
I was like,
Right.
this is how I learned how to pay the bills from every GM that I worked for. And you
Right.
all have a list of all the GMs I worked for,
Right.
you know? So I said, you know what? Look, I'm not going to do this. It was like, they offered me to resign or I could get fired. And I said, fuck it. I resigned. I mean, I called HR. I called
Right.
John Narotsky. I was willing to step down because I was just done with it. And I've been down this. You see this in the corporate world,
Yeah.
like if
For
someone's out
sure.
for you and they don't like you or they want to
Yeah.
pinpoint you. I mean, for me, I offered to step down. I offered to step down and go back to Westbury,
Okay. But they
whether it
said
was
no.
and they said no. So at that point too, like I just knew they were out for me, and I gave 12 years of my life to that company. I called HR, I explained everything, and everyone wanted to look over, their shoulder. I mean, I heard it was for reasons where, like, I don't know if he's
How do
still
you?
with the company, but
Yeah.
he got into a big fight with Spiro, and Spiro was really micromanaging his region, and so that's it. I resigned, turned my BMW in 2 days later, and then
Yeah.
it started with Dave and Buster's a week and a half later.
That's crazy. So there was no rest period for you. You were like, I got to pick up and go. Put cheesecake behind in the rearview
It
mirror.
was it was just kind of this, for me, conscientiously and morally, same thing when I was with First Watch. I'll give you everything, and to the point where it just got to the point where mentally and physically it was just such a beat down and weight on my shoulders. I couldn't find my way out of it, and there was and the and the honesty and the integrity was there to do what I had to do, but, like, seriously, in all honesty, when it comes to, micromanaging bullshit like that, like, if you don't want me there, then just tell me you don't want me there. You know what I mean? We don't have to play charades and coming up with right. And that's again too, like, I will take a beating from anybody. I've taken it my whole entire life, my whole career. But like, if I'm, I call you out on something that I didn't do that was wrong,
Yeah, that's it.
and now you need a scapegoat. So,
Yeah. So Dave and Buster's came up next. I mean, you worked in so many different locations, Palisades. Meeting your wife, right? Two lovely kids, boy and a girl. How'd you guys
mhm.
meet? You worked as a manager. She was a bartender, right?
No, so she was a cocktail server.
Okay.
It's a funny story. Like, I was out of a relationship, and when I was in training, my wife at the time was a cocktail server, and I was
Yeah.
training in the bar in
Yeah.
Palisades, and she came up to me in the middle of training and was like, "All the girls want to know what your type is." And I turned around and I tell the story all the time, and I said, "I was like, well, you're my type, but you're
Well,
too
there you
young."
go.
And it was true. I was afraid to get involved with a young girl because my last
Yeah.
two relationships were young girls, and they both broke my
Right.
heart.
Didn't
And I,
work. Yeah.
didn't work. And but we became really cool friends. And I watched her date idiots, and I was always there giving her advice. And then I went to
Right.
Times Square,
Right.
and when I came back to Palisades, wherever I was helping or training or whatever, I turned around and, I would always look for her name on there and we would always hit it off. And then I ended up dating a different girl when I was up there because I was supposed to go back to Times Square. And then we were dating and stuff like that. And then I found out she was cheating on me. And then Lauren was always like a friend for me. And then, one night we went out to dinner and we just hit it off. And I knew, she was an amazing person and a great person and down to earth. And, you know, I said, what am I doing?
Yeah.
It's right here in front of me. And
Yeah.
so it was funny too, because like I was still living with that other girl because, that's we were sharing an apartment. And I said, I'm out. And I remember calling Lauren up and saying, I'm leaving and then I want to be with you. And we hit it off, and I almost lost my job for it, but we hit it off.
10 years later now, happily married, two beautiful kids. I
Yeah.
mean,
It was
great family
definitely a funny story how we got caught. That's for sure.
for
That's for
sure.
sure.
You
Yeah.
knew she was the one, or she knew that you were the one for her?
My mom and dad always raised me to look for genuine traits, right? So I noticed that for me, I mean, she's beautiful. There's no doubt in my mind. She's the most
Right.
beautiful girl on the planet. But
Yeah.
my wife, if you ever get a chance to meet my wife is hands down to earth, the most amazing person you'll ever meet. The girl has the biggest heart in the world. And all the things that you look for in a person, right? As far as like genuine traits and what you need in someone, she has it all. And I said to myself, like, I never stopped for a moment. Everyone else you date, you fall in love with certain things or infatuations, right? And then you always try to change the things that are not what you like. I don't have to change anything about my wife. And that's the one thing I fell in love with. I didn't have to change anything about her. She was just perfect. She had great parents, great upbringing, great family values, hardworking, dedicated, ethics. Same way I was brought up, grandparents. I was an altar boy. She was an altar girl. It just
Yeah.
it hit off
It just
on
clicked.
all edges. Yep.
What's the key to a happy marriage, and how has fatherhood changed your life, your outlook on life?
The key to a happy marriage.
Yeah.
They say happy wife, happy life. Right
That's
now, the
it.
key
That's what they
to ma
say.
to keep my wife happy right now, as long
Yeah.
as she's going on a Disney cruise or 2 a year, she's the
Yeah.
happiest person on the planet. My goal in life is always to have a family. I always wanted a family, a healthy
Okay.
family, and I have
Yeah.
it, and thank God for it.
Yeah.
How has it changed? I do realize that my patience is not as good as it could be when I'm at home that I am as to work. Um, But it's hits you on different levels. Like, you watch TV, you watch movies, you watch documentaries, and you see what happens to kids, and then you start thinking about how if it could happen to you. Like, I took my wife on a cruise for her birthday last year just to get away. We haven't done anything in a while like that. I think it was like the second day we were on the cruise and we are just sitting there, and I'm like, "It's so fucking weird without the kids." You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like, because
Yeah.
they become a part of you every
Part of you.
single day.
Yeah.
But
Sure.
then at the same time too, 2 hours later, you wanna strangle him like Bart Simpson.
Yeah.
But it's definitely opened up my eyes to where it's like when you're at work and you help people, you have patience, you can only go so far because they're not yours. But when they're yours, just you want the best. And it's hard to learn how to pull back, you know? Like today, I cut up a bar of soap and I put it on the kitchen counter, and I turned around and told my daughter and my son, says, like, the next person that doesn't answer mom and dad in the right way or talks back, you're gonna eat a piece of soap. And they're all like freaked out about it, but the
Yeah.
visual works, and
Yeah.
that's how it was for me. But
That's it.
I mean, I wouldn't change it for the world. They're
Yeah.
amazing. They're
That's
great.
awesome.
We're hard on them. You get nervous a lot faster than you would realize. Like we're like me and my wife have the conversation all the time. Oh, we helicopter parents, you know, and like we got very lucky. The block that we live on, there's kids in almost every house, right?
Okay.
But it
Yep.
just scares the living shit out of me to see how some of these parents just don't even see where their kids go for the whole day. And it's
Yeah.
not that the neighborhood is bad at all. It's a very good neighborhood, but you see the shit on TV, you read about these articles about how people just snatch a kid and disappear and you never see him again.
Yeah.
And then, you know, like I couldn't I'd rather just go out there and grab a Gatorade and sit outside in a rocking chair and just watch them play and make
Watch them play
asses
around.
get kids. It's like I said back in the day when we were kids. You know, stranger danger. You don't go near the van.
Yeah. For
Nowadays,
sure.
someone just pull up in a Camry and just snatch you right out the
No doubt.
backyard and stuff. And it's scary. It's scary how your eyes open up.
Mm. Do they know what they wanna be in life? They tell you, "Hey, Dad, I wanna be a doctor, a scientist, a manager, or something in life," or
So
they don't know
we've
yet?
gotten the most consistent answer out of both of the kids is my
Right.
daughter has said teacher 3 times, and I don't know why because she hates to read and do her homework. And then my son has now he has the one that he keeps going back to is a construction worker.
Okay. Blue collar.
So,
Okay, nothing wrong
you
with
know,
that.
he's obsessed with Legos and he's obsessed with building things and he
Yeah,
loves heavy duty equipment. So
that's
that's
awesome,
where he
man.
keeps going.
Awesome.
And then my daughter loves to play soccer, so we're trying to get her into competitive soccer. My son loves playing hockey, but to him, I think it's just all fun and games yet. I don't know if he's really
For now,
grown into the intensity.
risky, you never know, you never know.
Got to skate more than I did when I was a kid.
Hey, rapid fire questions, man, you ready? I saw your thing, you were so pissed at Verizon. How pissed were you at Verizon making this whole thing, you could make calls for a day for 20 they give you a $20 refund. How pissed were you? What got you so chewed up and so pissed off at Verizon?
When you have a fucking hundred and something dollar fucking phone bill every week, and then I can't even text my wife to say good morning, and then you want to turn around and give me 20 fucking dollars, and then on top of that, I can't even get the $20 rebate. I have to go on the website to acknowledge I want it. You should
Yeah.
just given it to everybody. Fuck you, corporate world.
Mets
Bullshit.
Mets or Yankees?
Yankees. Always. Don Mattingly to the day I die.
There you go, man. Who's your favorite Yankee of all time? You said Manling, right? Manling to the
Don
day you die.
Mattingly. I will always love Don Mattingly.
How many pairs of Adidas did you own growing up in Queens?
Too many.
Too many.
Definitely too many.
Christmas or Thanksgiving?
Christmas all the way.
MTV, no mas. What's your thoughts on MTV? Dying,
I miss
dead.
it.
Yeah.
They
Favorite
had
show
some
on
good
there? Was it
shows.
Beavis and Butthead, Daria, anything crazy that stuck out to you? You MTV Raps?
No, it was definitely Yo MTV Raps, definitely Yo MTV Raps, Beavis and Butthead for sure. Um, what was it? The Countdown every day was always fun to watch too.
Spring
Which
Break
was
was pretty cool.
Spring Break was fun.
Making the band was funny. MTV Cribs was funny, hilarious.
Cribs was great. Cribs was
Yeah,
great
Cribs was
until you
funny.
found out it was all
It's
bullshit.
all bullshit,
Then
right?
they ruined it. They ruined it.
What does Eric listen to these days?
I am still all over the place. I
Okay,
literally I will go if a tune catches my head, I'll download it right away,
okay,
right? No matter what it is. I still you get in my car, I will go from Wu-Tang Clan to
okay.
Elvis Presley
Alright.
to Zac Brown Band. I'm all over the place.
Top 5
Still
rappers of
favorite
all
Blink
time.
182 is my favorite group.
Blink-182, yeah, I love
Will still be my
Blink-182,
favorite
man.
group.
Yeah, that was those guys are
Top
awesome.
5 rappers of all time is for me is Redman, Be Real from Cypress Hill for sure. I'm gonna be Ghostface Killer from the Wu-Tang Clan for sure. Let's see who else is up there in my top favorite.
No Nas from Queens.
You know, I listen. I love Nas. I do. Nas didn't impact me as much as like other rappers did, though. Like I feel like he came out in that time in my life where it was mainstream. Shit, it's. I want to go old school. I'm trying to think of who it is for me.
LL Cool J, Lil Jay-Z.
See, Jay Z for me will never have the respect as others is for me. I don't
Okay,
know why. I just
okay,
think he was a sellout to a lot of. Don't get me wrong. The Blueprint was amazing.
okay.
I have to say Eminem is definitely up there because I think from where Eminem I didn't really care for Eminem in the day, but what he's turned into is absolutely to me phenomenal. And then the last one I'm gonna say is let's see, I'm trying to think who it could be. Oh God, I have so many in my head right now. I'm gonna say probably Big L.
Big L. Okay, that's fair, old school. Alright. Top 5 foods you gotta have. Who's a better cook, you or your wife? Who's the better
Me,
cook?
there's no comparison.
Wow, you cook better than her.
Absolutely. She
Alright.
knows it. I cook all
She
the
knows
dinner.
it. She admits it, right? She knows.
She'll
Okay.
admit it. There are certain things she does make very, 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 very well, but I do all
Okay.
the cooking.
Alright. Are you a big Italian foods or Polish? I know you're both sides, so what kind of
More
foods do you like?
Italian, always
More
more
Italian?
Italian than Polish. Yeah, for sure,
How was your
for sure.
spaghetti and meatball? Really good? Top
Oh, it's
notch?
good. It's not as good as my grandmother's and my mother's, but it's good.
Okay, that's fair enough. Any plans for Valentine's Day? What do you got cooking up here for Lauren?
As of right now, we are gonna go out and check out a bar called The Cellar
Okay.
down in Knoxville, and then we're gonna do that on Friday because we don't want to go anywhere Saturday, and then we're gonna make Valentine's Day with the kids. So we'll do heart pancakes and and eggs in heart shapes, and then I downloaded off of Etsy like this whole like 50-page all these games
Yeah,
to play with the kids and candy, and
that's
then
awesome.
put them to bed, and then we'll have a bottle of wine in the fire pit outside.
Nice, can't beat that. Favorite actor in TV sitcom of all time?
Fucking, I don't know, Al Bundy, dude, for sure.
Married with Children, really?
Always. There's
Damn.
no doubt in my mind.
Yeah.
That they could never ever recreate anything as good as that. The Office came close, but nothing will beat Al Bundy for me.
What does Eric do in his spare time? What does he do?
Spare time for me right now, I have over the last few years have
Yeah.
become obsessed with Lego. Lego
Okay.
has become the my wife builds them, I build them, my son builds them, and now my daughter's gotten into them. It is a very, very fun but expensive hobby. The other thing right now that me and my wife got going on is we bought a used golf cart a few years ago, so I just took apart the whole thing and now I'm repainting it and putting it back together for the summer. And the other hobby for us right now is I bought my wife a 3D printer for Christmas. So she's been going 3D printer crazy with the kids. I haven't really gotten anything yet. Most of the kids get everything, but we're going to start doing some things on different scales.
Favorite wrestler in the 80s and 90s? Who you got?
Favorite wrestler in the 80s and 90s?
Yeah.
I go, Stone Cold was the guy for me. Always. And then The Rock will always be the second. And the only reason why is because back in the day when WCW versus
NWO?
WWF,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
NWO was right there. But you can't take Stone Cold. They won. They
Yeah, that
did
was
it.
the guy
I don't think the WWE would have did it if it wasn't for him and The
for
Rock.
him. Yeah,
What they did, I can still go back and watch the shit when he hit Vince McMahon with the urine pot and all that. But again, at the same time too, the
yeah,
Wolf Pack was phenomenal. So yeah, definitely Stone
sure.
Cold. Definitely Stone Cold was one of my favorite. The Rock is definitely up there for sure. For
Did you collect
sure.
any action figures back then?
I never collected wrestling action figures.
Okay.
I was big into when I was a kid. It was Transformers, GI Joe,
Yeah.
but I never really
He-Man.
got into the wrestling figures. He-Man for a little bit, not nothing
Okay.
crazy.
Not crazy. Place you wanna travel that you haven't been to as yet, but you wanna go?
I want to go to Italy and I want to go
Okay.
to Greece. We are actually going in June to we're taking a Mediterranean cruise, a Disney cruise, so I will get to finally see Italy. My wife studied abroad, so she's been there, so I can't wait.
Wife's family is so important to you.
It's everything. It's everything. I mean, it's foundation, strength, you know. I tell my wife this all the time. I was like, I don't think I would be if you think back to all my life, the person who I am is when I'm happy the most is when I'm at my best, right? So whenever I failed at something, it was a time in my life that I wasn't happy. Anytime my wife's by my side, I fucking kill it. So, and now I have my kids too, and it's
Even greater. Sure. Any regrets in life? Advice for Eric 20, 25 years ago. What would you do differently?
any regrets in life. Always stick to your first guess. Don't double second guess. The first guess is always right. For me, I think if I had to do anything again, I would put more time into my education for
Okay.
sure, and definitely
Okay.
broaden my horizons when it comes to education. I feel like over the last few years, I'm not as technologically savvy as I would like to be when it comes to certain things. So definitely putting more time into that would be something for me to do for sure. And I always tell them follow your heart, but always have a plan.
That's good
You
advice,
know,
man.
don't just don't do it, and if it doesn't work out, you fall on your face. Always have a backup plan.
Could you give me a staff alignment right now? Like a quick verse of a staff alignment, 20-second staff alignment. We're in the hallway, smelly hallway back there, a smoker garden outside. Give me a quick staff alignment. What would you say to fire up the staff? A holiday, going in there, everyone's kinda down and dreary. You gotta give me a
That's a good
quick
one. Put me
alignment
on
right
the
now.
spot. I
Yeah,
would just turn around and tell everybody, I'm like, look, we're here. I know you guys want to be home with your family, but this is your family away from home. Let's go out there. Let's make as much money as we possibly can so you can go share your rewards with your family. And you know what? If you don't have a right uniform, you're going home anyway.
yeah,
But at the same time, too, you come back the next day a better person in a better uniform. You know what? Salesmanship is everything, but go out there and kill them with kindness and make the people fall in love with you and come back because of you. Because if they come back because of you, you'll always have somewhere to come. If you don't take care of people, they ain't coming back. They'll always find somewhere else to go. And that's always been the thing. You can go to the worst place, dirtiest place, shittiest place, but if you make them feel like they're wanted, they're coming back. And it's you. And I can't buy you and I can't get you anywhere else. You're not on a list to be purchased. You come here for a reason. Staff is everything.
was good, dude.
It's the truth, man. It really, really is. That's like I said, think about it, right? All the people you get a chance to interview, they had a bookmark in your life, right? So that's the people you go back to for advice, the people you go back to and talk to. How many regulars did you have when you were at Cheesecake Factory that
All the
would want to
time.
come and wait
Yeah,
to sit in your section? And if they couldn't sit in your section, they made a point to say hello to you, you
yeah,
know?
sure.
And that's part of the memory. You're not seasonal, you're not on the menu, can't purchase you from a store.
Thoughts on the world we live in today? Any advice for humanity you'd like to share with us today? The stage is yours, man.
Get your fucking head out of your ass, man. Just start believing in people and do the right thing by the people. That's the biggest thing for me, man. Just like stop messing around with all this. To me, that kills me the most is it's just not fair anymore to the people that work so hard. Just you gotta start giving back. You can't. Life has become impossible to live. You know, and we keep forgiving everybody for all the stupid mistakes they are. But what about all the people that are working their asses off? We need to step back and realize and God bless all these people that have made all these money. People like Amazon, Bezos, all these people. Like, God bless you for what you've done and what you've accomplished. But if we can't slow down in reality and turn around and say we have people that when they turn around and say somebody doesn't have to take a salary for a year and can avoid world hunger, we're a mess. We're a mess. It's a mess. It's a sin. It's an absolute sin. It really, really is.
Any shout outs out there today? Anybody listening that's seen this podcast today? No, you got a list
Shout
of
outs.
names. Yeah.
Oh my god, dude, forget it. Shout outs. That was it. Rob Massey was the other manager. So
Rob
shout out
Massey.
to
Oh,
Rob
Rob,
Massey,
yeah, Rob
right?
Massey. Yeah, Rob. Yeah, yeah.
Shout out to Rob. Shout out to, people I haven't talked to in a long time. Jimmy, Maribel, John Munson. If you're out there, miss you, love you guys. Be good. Hope everyone's healthy and safe. Anyone that I got a chance to ever work with, I miss you. I hope you're well. And just have a great summer.
Yeah. Sure, man. Hey, I wanted you to come on the show today because you were one of my favorite managers of all time, man. I just can't thank you enough, dude. The influence you had on me 15, 20 years ago still resonates to this day. Like
I appreciate it, man.
I'm
I'm
asking
very
you
proud
how
of
to
you.
do an alignment. Like it's crazy. I think about Wysocki all the time. I was like, I gotta have him on
I'm
here, man.
very, very proud
And
of you, Ken, man. You've done
yeah,
some amazing things. So don't
thank
stop
you,
being
man.
you, brother.
Thank you,
Don't
man.
stop being you.
I needed you to come on here on this platform and just reminisce and kick it with you, and then
Yeah,
we made it happen, man. We made
yeah,
it
man.
happen. It's been a long
Very
time coming.
excited. Yep.
Yeah, this was good, man. This was really good, and I wish you the best, man. By the
You
way, as
too.
an ADO, how are you gonna be, man? Are you gonna be a douche, or are you gonna be cool? Are you gonna be Wysocki? Is that gonna change you at all, if anything? You'll be the same Erik Wysocki.
Like I said, I already started taking notes on all the things that I've seen that I have access to so far. And, I got to go in and see what it's like. I got to get to know the people and the person that they are, why they do what they do, what's their drive, what's their goals. And then if they have measurable goals into where they want to be. And that's the thing too. Like for me, if you have a goal, right? But in order to be a goal, it's baby steps, right? So to get to where you want to be, like for me, I had to be the best AGM before I could be the best GM. I had to be the best GM before I could be the best store. And then I was the best store, and then I had to go prove myself somewhere else. And if you do it with the right way and you put yourself out there, look what happened to me. I left a company that I loved and I didn't want to go, but I had to do what's right, right? And then when the time came, I was able to come back home and then come back home and put my head down and do what I had to do. And I got a chance to follow my dreams. So if you put your head out there and you put your head down and you work hard and you listen and you don't fall into the bullshit excuses and You do what's within the measurable goals of what you're capable of, sky's the limit.
For Mike Up Moments, he's Eric W. I'm Kenford. This has been awesome. See you guys again down the road. Maybe do it again one day. We are out. Thanks for joining
Signing
us
off.
today.
Have a good night, everyone.
That was good, dude.